friends all know that I'm cool. I've been this way since high school. Cause life's never been sweeter when you're just a cake eater. When it comes to hockey, nobody can stop me. My high school team, I was playing on the top 3.
Welcome to the Youth Hockey of High School Hockey podcast, brought to you by Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine. I am Danny Ryan, joined with me, Tony Scott.
In studio.
Well, that's not a surprise.
Oh, yeah. I feel surprised to be here.
And Carl, you're on the phone up in Duluth.
I am.
Soon to be in studio in town because it's turning time.
Exciting.
Coming down Tuesday night.
Yes. He's staying
Gotta
at
like
my
that.
place. He's staying at my place.
Gotta like that.
Yeah. I've relegated him to the couch.
Just to make sure your place is the no-hug zone.
Okay, that's fine.
Tragedy.
Well, let's start. Let's get into it. What do we want to talk about first? Tony?
What are we looking forward to? What about the state tournament are you looking forward to most?
Looking forward to see Carl for once.
Well, that's a good one. I agree with that. Our last show of the year will be
appreciate it.
with Carl. Yeah, it's true.
My Tommies are in it.
Your Tommies? Is that what you call them? They're cadets. But,
Well, I mean, they're half one dozen in the other. I
okay,
guess.
yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. You know, I'm a judge for all hockey here, and that's one less team to look at.
You could see some weird stuff. It's really like clean cut. You know,
No, clean-
sideburns to a certain length.
Sorry.
Hair can't touch your eyebrows. Okay.
Buzzer.
Well, what are you looking forward to if you don't want to, celebrate, another St. Thomas Academy victory?
I am looking forward to the upset, the colossal upset, and that's what makes the tournament so cool. We haven't have we had one, one where you just went, wow. The only one I remember in the last few years is obviously Duluth East, where Duluth East beating Edina. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the arena going absolutely bonkers. And I've said this on Twitter a few times and on my show. The tournament is a great tournament. It's awesome, but with no music between whistles, no bands between whistles, bands only. There's not the games sometimes lack excitement. The game has to be awesome to get that rink going.
Yeah.
There's lots of excitement in the lobbies, lots of excitement on second level,
Third
but
level,
on the
hormone.
ice or whatever you want to call that, section 200, whatever you want to call that. But on the ice, I want excitement. I want awesome hockey, and that's what I'm looking for the most, is to find that one game. Doesn't matter, AA. I want to find that game where it's like, do you remember where you were when that happened?
That happened.
And that's what the tournament's great for.
I remember when Kyle Rouse scored the goal. I remember where I was when that happened. Yeah.
So do I. I have a sidebar story. My son's team was playing Eden Prairie the next day to go to the District 6 championship game. We were playing Eden Prairie the next day. So that game, we knew there was other fifth grade boys cheering on Eden Prairie. So the longer that game went on, the greater our chances. And my boy was sleeping at 8:30 at night. He went to go to midnight as far as I'm concerned. And yes, we did beat, our son's team did beat Eden Prairie the next morning. It was great. So,
Duluth East says you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you from Duluth East. I appreciate that.
Well, what are people up in Duluth looking forward to, Carl?
Well, I think we're still in mourning for this year's tournament, but I think we are excited that we have two Northern AA teams that have a serious shot at doing some damage. So we're looking forward to that. We are very excited about the prospects of a possible skating potato on ice. And if we can get that mascot out there, that'll be the most wonderful thing ever.
Yes, that would be nice.
Getting our annual fix of Casetas, St. Paul Grill, a few other establishments on 7th Street. Can't wait for that. Observing the fun in the 200 level from a safe distance.
Yeah, I think I talked about it last week. That 200 level is off limits for me. I
remember when
go there.
you had to bring Jake something last year?
Yeah, it was awful. And I walked in there, hey, it's Tony Scott! And I'm like, oh, God, I couldn't get my son his $20 fast enough. And guess what? My 9th grade daughter, she wants to go to Section 200 this year. I'm like, honey, please, can you wait one more year? She goes, I've heard it's so much fun up there. I'm like, oh,
It
no.
is.
Yeah, it would be fun, and it's not. There's nothing illegal going on up there. And it's just a big party for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Especially those 8th through 11th graders. You don't see a lot of senior high school kids up there. It's just a big adolescent fest.
Just giant cloud of hormones.
Yes, and you know what though? It's a good thing for the tournament. It really is. It's kind of like the state fair.
Of course, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's great, but I don't want to go there. I mean, it's like,
Nope.
It's
Too
great
old.
people watching though. It's the ultimate people watching. Like
Yeah.
I remember last year, like there was a guy, a boy, and a girl, and then like people around just started chanting "kiss, kiss, kiss." And it's just
Right,
like,
exactly.
What the heck am I walking into?
I like to go see bands when I was in my 20s, and like 7th Street Entry would have shows like, yes, an all ages show. Oh, I'm not going. That's what I feel like when I go up to the section 200. It's not right. It's just
Well,
not right.
what are some of your best memories then of the tournament? Tony?
Well, that's a good one. I got to go back to 1985. I was junior in high school. Jefferson and Minnetonka played in one of the strangest games. It was a great hockey game, back and forth game. If I remember right, both teams had leads in the game, and it was the 7 o'clock because they didn't have 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock then. It was a 7 o'clock game. It's over. It goes into overtime, and it's not single overtime, not double overtime, not triple overtime. At the end of the third overtime, I think the State High School League is looking around going, it's 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. There's no way we can continue this game at this pace.
and have another one.
The game afterwards would have started at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So they seized the game, and they played it at 8 a.m. And I don't recall going, but I know Brock Rendell scored the game-winning goal like a minute into the thing, and it was an awesome game, and I believe Jefferson did end up losing in the semifinals. So they had that weird game. It was just made it a really weird tournament.
Yeah, no, that is weird. It'd be weird if that happened again too.
Well, yeah, it'd be a little different now. I think there are rules about number of periods that can play, and it's a 6 o'clock start versus 8 o'clock start, which is, by the way, you know, a lot of these old timers like myself, it was way better back then, and one class, this, that. 6 and 8 is so much better than
Yeah.
7 and 9. It is so much better.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Can I indulge on one St. Thomas memory?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So
Fine.
This is the point of the show where I turn the volume in my ear down.
But anyways, in 2006, when we won our first championship,
Double A playing versus A.
we were in single A. So I was actually in Washington D.C. at the time. So
Big fan.
Yeah. So I with a school trip. So I was out there. And
Quiz Bowl.
No, it wasn't Quiz Bowl. It was a close-up trip. Okay, close-up is the name of the trip. So
Can I stop right now? This is an all-boys school, and you elected to go.
yeah.
You elected to go.
Yeah.
This is an elective. Okay.
No,
all right.
yeah, this was
You didn't
like
have to go.
This was a school. Hey, I went into the West Wing. I saw the Oval Office.
Instead of the state tournament.
Yes,
All right.
And
Just-
when the Securities
Duly
and
noted.
Exchange Commissioner,
Duly noted.
we went into his office. He's was a former cadet, Chris Cox. So the former. So anyway,
Name dropper.
name drop. So then the championship game is going on while we're flying home. Okay, and this is after we've had 2 double overtime games. Okay, where Jack Bear came back.
Double A
and
playing A.
And so we had never won. Okay, my dad tells me, Danny, just drop whatever you're doing. Just drop your bags. We'll pick them up at the airport afterwards, and just run. And I'll pick you up on top of the airport. So this is in 2006. I'm an Italian guy, dark skin, dark hair, running through the airport with a backpack. Didn't really look great. So I jump in the car, and due to the fact that Pepper Skidey got injured, I show up at the X with like 2 minutes left in the game.
No way. She did make it.
And
That's
so
cool.
then I get into the lobby, and I see us the last minute of play in the lobby because tickets are sold out. They're not selling tickets anymore for it. It's the Class 2A that they're selling for.
Right.
So they won't let me in. So I see us win, and I'm not wearing any St. Thomas stuff. I'm just wearing like jeans. And so then I try to sneak in, and they're like, "No, you can't come in." Try to sneak in again. They're like, "No, sir, you cannot come in." And then I called my mom, and I was like, "Hey, can you just casually come over here?" "No, we want out." I was like, "No, just please come on." And so then she comes over. I sneak in, and I see the award ceremony for our first state championship.
That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Carl, let's hear your favorite memory.
I'm not going to be a shameless homer, even though I could pick several of these memories. I'm going to go with something else.
It's been so
I think I'm
long
gonna
since
go
they've
with-
been there.
I'm going to go with 2010. The 4 overtime game between Hill Murray and Minnetonka. And I was in college at the time. I was a college in Washington, D.C. We have a team with D.C. going here, but I came back for the tournament. It was on my spring break, conveniently enough, and I've done this the year before too. I enjoyed going to all the games, but I remember that year and that game just really sealed it. Like, this is something I would be doing for the rest of my life. It was just such a well played game, and with late into the night, we're getting out of the X around midnight, and it was snowing in downtown St. Paul. All these Minnetonka kids just running through the streets screaming that they won in 4 overtime, and that was just such a great memory.
Yeah, I remember I was at a party that night, and the party was supposed to get over by 10 or o'clock. We were all going to go home, and we all stayed to that party and just watched and watched. We couldn't put it down. It was an unbelievable hockey game.
I drove home from Lincoln. I took a nap, and I woke up, and it was the start of overtime. And
No
so
way.
I watched it the rest of the way because, when you drive for 6.5 hours, the last thing you want to do is, you're exhausted. And so then I took a nap, and it was still going on, and that game was crazy.
It was a good game.
That
It
was-
was a really good game. All right, we got a lot of room to cover. Our memories are done. What we're looking forward to is done. Let's look at last week a little bit. We can't look at all 16 section finals,
Well, let's highlight a couple.
but I will report. Can I report on our pick'ems really quick?
Sure.
11 for Tony. 11
16.
out of 16. 11 for Danny.
Woot.
And 10 for the kid from Duluth.
You suck.
Yeah. I was forced into picking a certain team from Duluth, so that's my
Oh
excuse.
yeah, you had to take Duluth East,
oh.
who lost it overtime, so it wasn't like
Much
you were that
sadness.
far off. I think when I look back at my picks, is the most glaring miss for me. I didn't really. None of them are really that bad, When you think about it, like
No,
what an
but nobody
idiot.
bit the bait on Wayzata. I think that was.
I was so close to pulling the trigger on that one.
We
So
were all
wish I had.
close.
Yeah.
We all talked about it like it was so tempting to take Wayzata because of the 3 losses.
Yeah.
So
Well,
agreed.
let's talk about Wayzata. You can't beat a team 4 times, it looks like, this season for Edina. They lose to Wayzata 3-1. It was really a 2-1 game with an empty net goal with a second remaining. But I think the storyline in this game is there was a disallowed goal.
Yeah.
I was on that side of the rink, and it went in. And I know it went in.
I was 400 feet away in the press box and saw it go in.
I saw that go in.
And it's so funny. I saw Jet Jungles today at the rink. He's watching his sister's team play in a regional. And I was like, I want to go ask him because it was his shot that it went
Yeah.
in. I just kind of ran out of time, but I was like, I know he's going to say it went in.
It
and I think
did.
the goal judge couldn't see it behind Wasenko's
Reed
pad.
Reed was kind of like with his arm, like it was in like a hole, and so you could see it in the net, but he was also covering it from the goal judge, and then the magic of dragging it back like a catcher framing a pitch.
So I told a friend of mine who's a Jefferson fan, he goes, I'm having a really weird karma flashback to 2000, whatever that was. When
Yeah.
Jefferson and Edina had that missing
13,
goal. It was 2013 in the semifinal. Again, a wacky noon game at Braemar.
Braemar, yeah.
Those are always the weirdest games.
But looking at Wayzata, this is a team that you do not want to get in a low-scoring match with, and that's what they did. And Edina is a team that gets frustrated quickly, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I
When-
think that's because they're so young. It's a pretty
Yeah.
immature team.
Yeah, and when you get them off their game, they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to not play disciplined hockey, which is the storybook for Edina's good teams, is playing disciplined hockey.
It's not the same. The tournament's not the same without Edina. And we talk about what
Yeah.
makes a great tournament. The
Villain.
villain. They have all the makings of a villain, and that's what made me upset that they didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got 2 private schools. We'll be fine.
I love it.
Okay, well,
right.
this has been a great show.
Yes, it has been. Wrapping up, we've been sponsored today by.
Anyways, moving on to the next game, the first game of the Wednesday night doubleheader. Holy Family losing to Eden Prairie 4-3. This game lived up to the hype, right? This was
No doubt.
Everything that you could have asked for. I mean, Eden Prairie went down. Casey didn't leave the ice. Casey got injured. Casey made some plays that were just godlike.
Well, the funny part about one of the plays he absolutely walked one of the Holy Family. I don't remember which one it
I don't
was.
remember.
It was amazing. Walked around him, and the whole crowd is going ooh ah, and then Holy Family goes back and scores.
Yeah.
And the same sequence. The game looked like, and I kept saying, this reminds me of fast break basketball. The last 6 minutes was literally 3-on-2, 2-on-2, 2-on-1, odd man. It was so exciting the last 5 or 6 minutes. It was
Well,
just
and you
riveting.
didn't know. I think going into the third, you did not know who was going to win this game.
You had no feeling.
No
feeling.
feeling.
who
No
was gonna
warm,
win that
fuzzy
game.
feelings on either teams.
Yeah.
This was just a really weird game like that.
Great hockey game.
It
Great
was
hockey
fun.
game. And too bad for Holy Family. They should be in this state tournament.
Well,
But
yeah,
it is what
and
it
they
is.
have the talent to be there.
Oh, no
clearly
doubt.
better than most of the field that's represented.
Probably. I can imagine how many teams they've beaten in this field.
Yeah, exactly.
Carl probably knows. Carl?
Let's see. They beat Rapids. They beat Wayzata. They beat.
Did they beat
No, they lost to St. Thomas, and they lost.
Yeah.
They didn't play Hill Murray, and they didn't play Maple Grove. So
No, they lost to Moorhead. Got
they lost to
killed by
Moorhead. They're actually not very good tourney record-wise, but actual record, this is a very good
Did
team.
they play Lakeville South?
No, they did.
I think they did beat Lake.
They beat
They
Lakeville.
split with Maple Grove.
They split with
Split
Maple.
twice.
Oh,
Yeah.
So they're right there.
yeah, they're a very good team, very
They're right
talented. But any other takeaways from this game other than
No,
Casey is the
awesome.
best player that, and when we see him this week, he's going to be at another level again.
He will go another level. He will.
And it's just going to be crazy. So, I don't know. If you were there, this game was amazing. If you weren't there, you were kicking yourself that you were not
Yeah,
there.
I'm glad it wasn't on internet. or
I was
on
watching
live stream.
Hermantown Greenway.
Yeah, some people were at Hermantown versus Greenway. How
I'm sure that was riveting.
was it good, Carl?
Yeah, well-
What's the one takeaway from that game before we move on to something else?
To be honest, I thought Greenway played as well as they possibly could have. And, it was 1-0 after 2. It was 2-0 late in the second before Hermantown got their third goal. That was really the backbreaker. So really good credit to Greenway for a strong game and a strong season.
Oh, yeah.
They're a
Great
good
team,
team.
but just stuck in the wrong section.
How about my guy Randy? He posts a little video of the celebration. Did you see some of the guys from Hermantown barely taking their gloves off and barely taking their
Yeah.
helmets off?
Oh
Like, it
my
was like,
God.
do I have to take my helmet off for this? Because I'm so bored. I'm just cannot wait to get to the state tournament.
Well, they're bored for another 2 years.
I know. I know.
Well, let's talk about another Class A final that happened. Breck loses to Delano 2-0. I guess I'm very surprised by the score on this because I thought it would be higher scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too.
What I heard, just takeaways from this, Breck didn't really play their style as much, and they were pushing a lot, which happens when you're down. And I mean, credit to Delano. Delano beat them in a way that nobody really saw possible that they would beat Breck in shutting them out.
Yeah, and if the shots were in favor of Breck, it doesn't matter.
28-0, or
was it?
28-20. Sorry.
Yeah, so it should be 28-20. You're down by 2 goals. You better get some more shots on goal than the other team.
Yeah.
So, I was a little bit shocked about that and couldn't be happier. No offense to my Breck friends, but great thing for hockey in Minnesota for a town like Delano to have its first trip to the state tournament.
And they're primed to have a good tournament.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have a great tournament. I think they got an easier route to the finals than Hermantown does.
Not that it matters for Hermantown, but yeah, I agree.
Right.
Okay, another game that all of us weren't at. Maple Grove beats Centennial 4-3. Centennial outshot them 39-16. But again, when you're down in the third period, you're going to shoot more. Really, Sam Huff getting 2 goals in the first period was really,
Set the
really
tone.
big. So this was a high-scoring first period, 2-3 after the first, and then it kind of settled back into a section, final type of game. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Maple Grove won.
No, that was a toss-up game.
That's a toss-up game. Yeah, I guess I wasn't never sold on Centennial throughout the season. Tony, you were more sold.
I was sold on him. I liked him. I thought that they did some nice things, especially offensively.
Yeah.
Like they gave gave teams trouble.
Yeah.
Again, that section, like we've talked about before, until they win a game, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the new White Bear Lake.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to lose.
Yeah. I
You know?
agree. And they have a tough test against Grand Rapids because they beat Duluth East. And this was probably, again, the section game to be at. We were at 3AA watching the Cadets
Sorry.
beat the Jags
Yeah.
by a touchdown.
Yes, it was.
And an extra point. And running time.
Yep.
So, moving past that, because Tony's sulking in a corner.
I'm not sulking. I'm not sulking. I called it on the show. Let's go back to the recording. It will be in running time. Thank you. I called it. Thank you.
But Rapids versus Duluth East. Rapids wins 3-2. Shots were 48-47. Carl, can tell us what this was like? I watched Rich Livy's video of this already.
Did you watch the choir concert?
No, I didn't watch the
You
choir
didn't
concert.
watch the choir concert?
Why? Is the choir concert good?
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys don't know this?
No.
So I'm coming home from the Jefferson St. Thomas game, and Jack, my Twitter guy, sends me a text. He goes, "Check this out. The game, some guy set up a camera on his television in Duluth, and he put it on the cube, and he called
This would be a guy in Cloquet.
and he
we
called
kinda
it choir." And he literally put it choir, and there's 3,700 people watching a choir concert. And I watched the whole game. I saw Micah Miller shoot a puck into a net and celebrate. It was great. I tweeted out, I'm watching one heck of a choir concert
I didn't
right
know
now.
what that meant.
That's what that, and it was supposed to be a little vague, but it's like, if you're watching the choir concert, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you're never going to know. So,
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, Carl, you were there along with 7,000 people.
yeah.
Yes. No, it's the highest attendance at a hockey game in Duluth ever. It was 300 over Amsoil's capacity, so totally full, just overflowing, and it was just an incredible game to watch. And we had a very similar game last year that it was no incredibly tight, dramatic Grand Rapids win in the section final. But I actually enjoyed this game more than last year's. I think mostly because both teams really executed their game plans. They're doing exactly what they wanted to do. Last year was just really wide open and frantic at times. But this was both teams playing really well, doing exactly what they needed to do, playing tough defensively, just grinding it out, throwing their top lines at each other, just punching back and forth. And in the end, it's just Micah Miller just putting his shot in the perfect spot. And it's what championship players do, and that's how Grand Rapids pulled it out. And it's just an awesome game to be at.
It was a wonderful shot. It was incredible.
I was watching the video of the handshake, and it was really cool to see Randolph shaking everybody's hands. It was kind of like a blessing from the northern, like go down and like win for us, type of thing. So that was really kind of cool.
And his comment to the Duluth News Tribune afterwards was that Micah Miller is my favorite player in the state.
Yeah,
Hard to argue.
Hard to argue that.
Hard to argue. There is no doubt. Those three kids, Hayne, Miller, and McLaughlin, are special.
Well, and so is Stampahar and Highcamp. I mean,
yeah, it's a good
Zach's
group.
playing so well.
You know
right
who else
now.
is playing great? And again, I only watched last two periods of the choir concert. This Burnson kid is.
Oh, Jack Burnson?
He is
Oh.
amazing.
He's fast, isn't he?
Yep, and he causes people trouble.
Yeah.
He really does. He
And
really
then
does.
you put-
and he missed the early part of the season.
Yeah.
So when he came back, it was definitely bolstered that second group.
Well, and then Keegan Graber is playing really well on
Yeah.
that second line. They're playing good hockey right now again. That
Well,
third period.
they weren't against
Milk.
Cloquet like 10 days ago. Now all of a
really
sudden they're the
weird.
greatest team ever.
They're
I was
world
talking
beaters
to
again.
one of their assistant coaches, and he says, I never know what's going to show up. We know that they can turn this thing on, and we know as soon as they can turn it on, they can turn it off. So
Yeah.
I think it's on for the rest of the year, no doubt about it.
Unless they hit a buzzsaw in a Casey Middlestead.
Well, yeah, I mean that's coming up on Friday, and that's
Possibly.
possibly. I mean,
Yeah.
Eden Prairie still has to win.
Yeah, and so does Rapids.
So it's a lot of hockey to be played.
Okay, and then the game last night, the 4AA game. I was at this one. I got tickets Thursday during lunch, so I could go over there. This game was awesome. This game was a really, really fun game. First, it started with Bagley letting a soft one in, and then Hill Murray poured it on in the second period. And Hill looked really good. And everybody was standing up. I thought Brock Bremer played a very good game. I thought Kyler Yo scoring was very good. Sontag scored. This was a very Hill, playing their system and just getting up to play Stillwater correctly.
Well, I talked to a Stillwater dad, and he was saying, he obviously an anonymous dad. He's like, the Achilles heel for our team was going to be our defenseman, and I think that's what ended up costing him.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and what happened, too, is Isley got rattled. The Sontag goal was a rush goal where the puck went in off of people going into the net and, running into him, and the puck went in. So he was rattled. And so then shortly, 12 seconds later, Kyler Yo scores on a 1-on-none. And so he's rattled. And then he was shaky for the rest of the period. He settled down in the third, but still.
It's too late.
It's too late because because Stillwater gained momentum back at the end of the second by scoring a goal and scoring right away in the third. But then once Hill scored the game-winning goal by Quast, it was game over. It was lights out because you knew that Stillwater had to go to another level, and they just couldn't find it. I thought we were looking at Stillwater's top level the whole night, and I didn't see what line was going to step up the most, and it just really wasn't there. But great team from Stillwater this year. They had a very, very good season.
Great season.
Okay, so that wraps up the section finals. Let's kind of get a little bit into how we would have seeded everything, right?
It's seeded, or mine is one part seeded, one part. This would have been a better tournament. How would it be better off? I don't want. You guys are gonna pick Wayzata and Eden Prairie's game. The last thing I want to watch is another Lake Conference game.
And we're only going to do this in the Class 2A field.
Yep.
Because the Class A field always ends up the way we want it.
Yep.
Because it's not deep enough to play 8 teams.
Yep. So I'm going to go with mine. I'm going to go Eden Prairie, Lakeville South in a number 1 seed, non-seeded.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Lakeville South did okay last time they played with top seed, so.
What was that?
Lakeville South did a great job.
Oh,
last
jeez.
time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. I'm going to go Grand Rapids Moorhead, and I'm going to say that.
In the 4-5.
the 4-5. This is the,
No.
Why? Why?
Not allowed. Cannot have the Northern teams play in the first round.
It happened last year. Everything turned out just fine.
No, it didn't. Did you see a Northern team win?
Yes.
No,
Grand Rapids beat Bemidji. That was great. It guarantees a Northern team on Friday night.
But last year, I think both Northern teams could have advanced without playing each other.
I know, but I like the guaranteed
It's
Northern
even more likely
team.
this
Okay.
year.
Fine, Tony. You can
This
have
is
your
my ideal. I'm not going to pee all over your parade, okay?
We don't like you either.
All right? All right. And then my next one would be still STA and Wayzata. Okay? The reason I like this one is Wayzata, if they can beat Edina, they think they can beat anybody. And I think this would be there'd be more suntans, Botox, and North Face jackets in the rink than ever with this STA Wayzata game. And
You know
that's
who
why
would
I
like
love
that?
It.
You know who would like that game? McGovern's, because their tips are going to be nice.
Big tippers. And then the last game would be Hill Murray Maple Grove. I think another good game. That's my ideal tournament. I have to build my tournament around Grand Rapids and Moorhead playing. So that's my key matchup in this tournament.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my key matchup is Grand Rapids playing Hill Murray in a 4-5.
That's a good game.
Just because you have
But once it's kind of where you spend your money on Grand Rapids kind of throws everything off.
But I'm okay with Rapids losing this game because a Hill Murray in a semifinal is still going to be exciting because it's going to be a well-coached team.
Yep.
And so I'm not really afraid of that. And a good goaltender, too.
All right, and I see you wrote Eden Prairie and Wayzata.
Eden Prairie, Wayzata, and Carl, you'll agree with me on this. Just knock them out. Okay, knock out one of
Yep.
them.
Get rid of the Lake team, please.
Yeah, just get rid of the lakes as quickly as possible because we don't have to deal with Edina this year. I don't want to deal with a subpar lake team.
Okay. All right.
And
But
I think it's going to be a great atmosphere for that first round game, too. I mean,
Yeah, it should be. I think that's the other thing is those fan bases are going to actually be showing up for that one because, one, they know the people in the town that they're playing, and so it's kind of a close knit.
you guys are missing the main reason this would be a good game, or is going to be a good game, because this is not just hypothetical; it's actual. This is a rematch of the state championship.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
When does
there's
that happen?
Yeah.
I bet
When was the last time the state champions played each other?
In the first round.
The finals.
I looked this up. Someone asked me on Twitter. I looked this up. It was 1971.
no way.
Yep.
Who was it? It would have been International Falls.
Southwest and
No,
Edina.
no, Minneapolis, Southwest Edina. Yeah.
Okay, good job.
I only know that because Southwest beat Edina in '70 to win its
Yep.
my school's only state championship.
Oh, good for you. Well, my school has won 3,
Class A
and
tier 2.
and they will play Lakeville South in my ideal matchup on
Yep.
this, just because I think the defense of Lakeville South would be fun to watch the forward talent of St. Thomas Academy, and I do think this game is intriguing in a lot of ways. And then that leaves Maple Grove being unseeded, playing Moorhead, giving Moorhead a good shot to make it out of this game, is my thought on this.
Okay. All right. Carl, what's your ideal tournament of these 8?
Okay. Yeah. So I actually I'm pretty happy with the one we have, but again, like Danny, I like Eden Prairie Wayzata. I think that's a great game. I would also have Moorhead Hill Murray play, though I think I'm going to move that to the 4-5 game. I think that's a great way to end the day. I want to see Grand Rapids play St. Thomas Academy, and even though that's a tough draw for Grand Rapids, I think that's going to be a really fun game. It'll be wide open, some great talent there. So we'll have that one, and then that leaves you with a Maple Grove Lakeville South game as my final matchup.
Which, yeah,
Meh.
meh.
Yeah,
Meh.
yeah.
I think in
Sacrifice
every
one for the other ones.
You have to though. I think there are 2 teams in this tournament that have really, really big star power, and it's Grand Rapids and Eden Prairie.
Yes.
So the other 6, no offense, don't have, what those 2 teams bring from a star power perspective. So
no.
once you spend the money on those 2 teams,
You have to
you're gonna-
allocate
you're
your
gonna
funds.
allocate some funds in different ways. You're gonna come up with I wouldn't call Maple Grove South a stinker. It's just
No.
it doesn't have the star power
Yeah.
of those 2 teams.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
For the history. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The history, the tradition.
Correct.
That's what makes the tournament fun. Like, even if Roseau was in the tournament this year, just the history that they bring along with them.
Green
I would
jersey.
love to watch
Green jersey.
Watch them play, in Eden Prairie just as a first round game, just because it's like, well, you got to go through one of the most winningest teams to win state, Casey.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
When we get to it, I want to talk about that Eden Prairie. I mean, with some of these upsets or quote upsets, Lakeville North and
Yeah.
and other teams, I want to talk a little bit about is this detract away from Eden Prairie winning it without Stillwater
Okay,
and those
okay.
teams in it. I want to talk about that later. We want to get into our picks now.
Let's
tournament?
let's start Class A talk right
Yep.
now.
All right, here we go. So we're gonna call these games 1 through 7. So game 1 is Delano Mammal.
Mammal.
Anyone gonna pick an upset there? We're going D's across the board on this one.
Yeah. Sorry, Mammal.
All right. Matamidi, Northfield.
I think
I
this
think
is-
this game
this
could
go
be
back
more
to your-
interesting than some people think.
Yeah, I think so too, Carl. I
Yeah.
think this could be closer
Yeah.
than people think. I do think Matamidi wins,
Yeah.
and they're going to have a great student section too. Matamidi really comes out to play for this.
Will
I just have to say,
Matamidi dye their
the
hair
entire-
again?
The entire morning Class A session is going to be great because you have 3 teams that are in there for the first time,
Yeah.
and Matamidi, who brings a huge section, and they're all fairly large, sort of semi, suburban, ex-urban schools. So there should be some great crowds there.
Well,
I agree.
And Mammal is going to look like a zoo.
Yes. So Thursday night, Mammal had 1,500 fans packing Elk River Arena 3 hours before the game started.
Just to watch practice.
Yeah. So it was amazing.
So I got Matamidi. Carl, who do you have in this one?
Matamidi.
Yeah, you going Matamidi?
I already got it down, yeah. I got Hermantown, Laverne.
Okay. What's
All
the
right.
4-5?
And
Moving on.
East Grand and St. Cloud Cathedral. This one,
It's the
now we
toss-up.
have some discussions. 1, 2, 3. I get to go first.
Sure. Carl, you and I already know what we're going to pick.
I'm going East Grand.
Yeah, and it's going to be East Grand because Carl,
Oh.
why is
Actually,
East Grand
I
going to
thought
win?
we've been lying. Danny, we've been lying. Class A has lost a few first-round games. Or 8A has lost a few first-round games.
Who?
What year? Like 2012?
No, it was TRF lost one in the mid-2000s, and EGF lost a few way back.
Declare shenanigans already on you, Carl.
All right. Are you guys going
Yeah.
with East Grand?
I got to go East Grand still.
I'll take Cathedral. Why not? Someone has to.
All right.
I think that's going to be the best game, and hopefully Hermantown doesn't put me to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. So at
I'll
this
I'll try
point,
to wake you up.
Yes.
so at this point, we have Delano Matamidi in the semis.
Mott. Or not Mott.
Oh.
I mean Delano, sorry.
Oh,
Ugh.
whoa! I
Okay.
almost wrote that down.
Yeah, sorry. Delano's going to win. I think the firepower of Delano in this game. I think it would have been more of a challenge if with SPA, but I think Delano's. They're on a mission right now, and they're going to get back. They're going to get the state championship game.
Okay, so Carl, because you have, no, that's the next game. Sorry, Delano Matamidi.
Nope. Delano.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to you. Hermantown, St. Cloud Cathedral.
Hermantown.
Hermantown.
Yeah,
What-
so we basically have the exact same picks all the way down to game
Yep.
7, except one
pick.
variable. So
yeah,
now,
and that's
Yeah,
normally how Class A kind
One
of
daring
turns
pick in the
out.
4-5 game. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Anybody going to pick against Hermantown repeating?
No.
Nope.
Oh, this is so boring. Are you guys forcing my hand?
Yeah, pick them. Pick them. I picked Breck all season.
I'm
so
going Delano.
You're going Delano?
Do it.
I'll go Delano.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah. And I think it'll be a decent game.
Yeah, it was a
And I-
it was a
you
very
know,
good game this season.
It's so funny when I was interviewing Ryan Sandlin, I talked to him about that game where they had him beat, and he goes, "They had us beat."
yeah.
You know, they really did. You know, and
Waddy comes back and scores a
then
couple.
boom, boom, boom. You know, it's over.
Yeah.
And that's what Hermantown
Yeah.
will do to you.
Yeah.
know, if you,
They'll
if
play
they,
two.
If they got a
and-
chance, if you got a chance to beat them, you got to take it, or else they'll take it away from
Well,
you.
and then they just start playing 3 low on you in that forecheck, and it's just unstoppable, relentless.
Yeah.
Hermantown.
Yep. All right, Double A. We ready? It's 7 games.
Ugh. Start with the Thursday morning game.
That's St. Thomas, Lakeville South.
Yes.
All right. What do you got?
I got St. Thomas Academy. Carl?
I'm going to take an upset here. I'm going with Lakeville South.
You are no longer staying at my place this week.
I'm going with Danny on this one. I'm going St. Thomas Academy. Next game, Moorhead Hill. Now this is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one. I'm going to go. I still think Moorhead is a year away. I'm going to take them in this game. But after this, I'm going to go away from Moorhead. So I'm going to go Moorhead here. And then Carl.
I'm going to ride the potato train, too, here.
I just think they're too good.
I'll
And playing well, too.
I'll spend my Hill Murray money. I picked Hill in sections play. I think Coach Lechner gets them up. The way Bill Lechner coaches his team on the bench is one of the tops in the state on doing that and just motivating. He's such a good motivator that it's hard to pick against them come tourney time. Easy to pick against them in a championship game, but to get there is pretty. Sorry to the Pioneers, but yes.
All right. So you have Game 3, Eden Prairie, Wayzata. Anybody got the guts to pick Wayzata?
Not with the way Casey's playing.
No.
Casey's playing at such another level right now. The only thing that would scare me is if the Eden Prairie D play shaky. They played a little shaky in the Holy Family game, but I just don't see it happening in this game. And they have so much to prove against Wayzata in a tournament format.
Anyone want to pick Maple Grove in the nightcap?
No.
Crickets?
Not really.
No.
No,
Yeah.
I like same thing as GR's on a mission, and they're ready to take down Eden Prairie.
I'm going
I
Saint.
also don't trust anyone out of Section 5 until they finally prove they can win a first-round game, too.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not the biggest quality team that they've had coming out of Section 5 either. I mean, you look back, Bukestad didn't even
There was
win.
Bukestad, there was Tufty, there was that Maple Grove team that had, like, 2 or 3 losses.
Yeah, that had Gross on it, that had like, that
They
team
were
was
loaded.
really
Yeah.
good. Anyways,
That was a team that put
15 on the board.
Blaine into
15.
running time.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
ugly.
that was an ugly one.
Ugly. Okay, anybody want Moorhead in the first semifinal?
No.
Well, I have been playing Lakeville South, so yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Anyone? So do you want St. Thomas or Lakeville South?
He wants Lakeville South. Carl does.
Oh, sorry.
I took Lakeville South.
Yeah.
Okay, you want Moorhead? Or you feel?
We need a new accountant.
Sorry, I can't keep. This is tricky.
So I'm going to take St. Thomas Academy to win that semifinal matchup.
And who are
Tony.
you taking, Carl? I'm just going to write it down. I'm not going to try to keep track anymore.
I'm taking Moorhead to win this semi.
Because
Okay.
of the Lakeville South. I think that's the caveat there.
Yep.
But that's a boring game, Carl. I don't know why you want to watch the Lakeville South Moorhead game as a semi.
It'll be good. There's
I'm
no
saying
bad
it's
semis.
going to happen. Not what I want to watch. What's going to happen?
Okay.
All right, now this is a game where I can see
This is what you want to talk
the
about.
script changing. Eden Prairie, Grand Rapids.
I'm
I'm gonna let you go first because I know what you're gonna say.
Do you want me to go first,
Yeah,
Carl?
you go ahead.
Rapids. I'm picking Rapids.
And Carl,
I'm taking Eden Prairie.
I think the crowd
Casey will not be denied.
the crowd factor on this is going to be crazy if this game happens.
what happened last year?
It happened last year, too.
Ole,
It was
ole.
great. That was the height. That was the
Oh,
highlight.
Casey just scored 4 more goals.
Yeah. I think that Eden Prairie's team this year is better than it was last year. And I don't think that Grand Rapids' team is as deep as it was last year. I still think that on paper, when you line all the things up, all the tangibles up, Eden Prairie wins this hockey game. I got to go on those tangibles. But there's so much intangible about that group from Grand Rapids that I won't be surprised if Grand Rapids wins the state championship.
I feel actually, personally, I think that Eden Prairie was better last year. Here's
completely disagree with
why.
that.
Michael Graham, Louis Roll made a difference, or Rail, whatever.
Rail.
But and Michael Graham didn't have the best of seasons, but he was still Michael Graham.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
threat.
This year's Eden Prairie is deeper. They have better goaltending, and they play more as a team than last year's team did.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
I think they're just better. I think it's just a better team. There's no doubt this is a better team. This team will be in the state finals. I'm going to pick them to win, too. So
Okay.
so we'll go on. I'll go first since I haven't picked first. I'm going to go Eden Prairie. And you have St. Thomas. You got to pick St. Thomas, right?
I'm going to pick St. Thomas.
St. Thomas going to win their first big boy tournament. How about you, Mr. Carl?
I'm going with Eden Prairie over Moorhead.
Rematch of 2009.
Yeah.
That was a fun game, too.
Yeah, it
when
was.
Nick Letty went coast to coast on that one.
Yes.
That
He did that plenty of times.
That was memorable.
Now, next session is to talk about what we're going to do for the tournament. We got a lot of fun stuff. We're going to do a thing called Sights and Sounds. We're going to pick out, do some things that you can't see on TV. So if you're watching this game from Thief River Falls or Brainerd or Rochester,
Goodhue.
you're like, or Goodhue, and you're like, well, what happened? what happened in the rink? What was interesting that was going on in the rink? So we're gonna pick out the best band of the game. We're gonna pick out the best hair, obviously on Wednesday and Thursday.
Sharp dressed cadets.
We're gonna talk about the best student section. Well, we're gonna talk about the best fan that we saw, the best dressed coach,
Best cookies.
best cookies in the press box. We'll obviously
This is very important topics that everyone cares about deeply, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about stuff. Obviously, the biggest play in the game, the most important play
Yeah.
in the game, things like that. And it'll be 2 minutes. Danny
too.
and I will go on camera. We still haven't figured out where in the arena they're going to let us go on camera in the rink,
Videotape it.
and we're going to videotape it and drop it right into our Twitter feed, and it'll obviously be in our daily story. So this story should be up within 10 minutes of following the tournament.
Yeah.
Each tournament game. So it'll be fun. Carl will help us do it. Danny and Carl are going to play little trivia games. We're going to hand out YHH swag.
Tourney trivia is what we're
Tourney
calling.
trivia. So you want to give them a sample question?
Ooh,
This is
sample question.
Just give them a little tease.
They're going
I like the
deep into the
Wayzata
record
one.
books here.
That's my favorite one.
The Wayzata one I want to keep.
Okay, you want to keep that one? That's
I
a
want
good
to
one.
keep that one.
Give me another trivia question.
I kind of went over a lot of these earlier. Do you want to do the goals one, the 4 teams one?
Sure, let's do that one.
Okay, which 4 schools have scored 7 goals in 1 period?
7 goals.
And this has happened 4 times.
That's like route ski. I
That-
mean, that's awful.
You know, and the cool part about when Brecken St. Thomas Academy did it, they were Sports Center
Oh, you
top
already
10.
gave us 2 of the answers?
Yeah, they were Sports Center top 10 plays.
So Brecken St. Thomas,
I know
get
that
that.
one.
I get that. That's
It-
class
and
A.
the best part was they were both against New Ulm. Yeah,
I remembered one of them.
Or New Ulm.
honestly didn't know the answer, but I remembered one of them was against New Ulm when you said Sports Center.
and so whenever you talk about goals in a game, you always have to bring up Eveleth because Eveleth
Yep.
set so many records. So Eveleth
Yep.
is the other team. And the weird random one on that was Hill Murray scored 7 goals in a period. I don't have the year in front of me, but they did that too. So
There was the time they beat Rapids 11-3.
that was
I wonder if that was part of that game.
yeah, it was probably that game.
Wow, that's ugly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there'll be kind of that style of question. Some will be easy that you can find right away, but others we want you to kind of use your brain. So this is coming
Or
from
Twitter.
Or Twitter.
Or Google, excuse me.
or the Googles.
Use the Googles.
But you have to remember, Carl and I are former quiz bowlers, so we are good at coming up with questions. So
Yeah.
just get ready.
Yeah, now that there's this new website, this RR website with all of the tournaments.
Stop giving away the hints.
I just
amazing.
looked it up.
Yeah.
And Hill Murray did indeed score 7 goals in the second period against Grand Rapids in 1991.
The second period.
Thank you, RRR website.
Yeah.
This RR guy is amazing. We're going to try to get him on the show here someday just to tell us about him. He was an official scorer at the state tournament for years and put all his score sheets online. It's a great site. What is it? What is the website? RR, what is it?
RRR.hockey.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
RRR.hockey.
It's amazing. That's
Yeah.
all I got to say. Any other final thoughts for the tournament other than we'll see you guys on Thursday night? We're going to come back and do a podcast on Thursday night to get
Probably, maybe even at the X.
Yeah, we might even do it live at the
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
So we'll do a show on Thursday night to talk about basically get everyone primed up for the big 4 games on Friday.
And kind of make fun of each other where we went wrong.
Yeah, we could do that. A little quick review.
Yeah.
Quick review. But I don't think any of us are going to go wrong except
The Class 2A stuff.
Class 2A stuff. We're divisive on those. that's
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
are.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us today, Carl. And for Carl and Danny, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks to our sponsor, Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine, for sponsoring today's show. Have a good day.
Last night my kid tore up his league. He had a hat trick right up his sleeve. Coach said he's never seen that. Gemini Athletics gonna have to stitch the C patch. I've got Ferraris, Maseratis, drive all over the place. I drink martinis, never seen these looks all over their face.